Welcome to the Equipped Disciple channel. My name is Rick McClatchy. I will be your host. We are here to be and to make disciples of Jesus, and we do that through daily devos, through Sunday sermons, and through other discipleship resources. We are here to equip you to be an equipped disciple. Welcome into another day of your daily devo. I'm Pastor Rick, and we are still jumping around in John chapter 12. We're going to hit verses 12 through 19, talking about what is famously, commonly, frequently called the Triumphal Entry of Jesus into Jerusalem. So let's just take a look, see if you could like and comment and subscribe. Tell me, drop in the comments your favorite breakfast cereal, because that's a really important piece of information that we need to know. All right, because Lucky Charms, it's a guilty pleasure. All right, I'm not saying it's healthy to eat for breakfast to get your day going, but as a midnight snack, hey. But jumping right into verse 12, the next day, when the large crowd that had come to the festival heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem, they took palm branches and went out to meet him, and they kept shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, the King of Israel." Jesus found a young donkey, sat on it, just as it is written, "Do not be afraid, daughter Zion. Look, your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's colt." His disciples did not understand these things at first. However, when Jesus was later glorified, then they remembered that these things had been written about him and that they had done these things to him. So it's so fascinating that literally they're saying, the people around Jesus were not putting two and two together. They were not like, oh, hey, Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 9, or, scroll 3 of Zechariah, however they would have referred to it, refers to Jesus coming in on the Messiah coming in on a donkey. So this must be him. We should get him a donkey. There's none of that going on, because they didn't even remember. They weren't making the connections. But Jesus, so sovereign in his plans, was fulfilling prophecy just bada boom, bada bing. I mean, Jesus was just taking care of business. So he found himself a donkey, rode in on the donkey. Meanwhile, the crowd which had been with him when he called Lazarus out of the tomb and raised him from the dead continued to testify. This is also why the crowd met him, because they heard he had done this sign. So some of them have just heard he, raised somebody from the dead. Apparently that's a big deal. It's not something you see every day. You know what I'm saying? Then the Pharisees said to one another, "You see, you've accomplished nothing. Look, the world has gone after him." So they're trying to say, like, hey, we ask you to do some things for us to help slow down this guy's progress. And yet, as it turns out, they're looking at each other. The Pharisees said to one another, "See, you've accomplished nothing." I mean, they're all just pointing fingers at each other, like, hey, I told you this guy was going to cause us problems. Apparently, they're from Brooklyn, but because they heard he had done this sign, and they said, "Look, the world is going after him. You've accomplished nothing. Nothing that you have tried to do to slow Jesus down is working." And that's something that we should take note of, that nothing slows Jesus down. Nothing can stop the work that God has ordained to have happen. That's the kind of God we serve. So just some quick things to think about on your way out today. Jesus fulfilled prophecies. He was fulfilling prophecies left and right. If you look up some statistics about what it would take for one person to fulfill the number of prophecies that Jesus fulfilled, it'll blow your mind. It's kind of a fun little experiment, or, rabbit hole to go down, if you will. And so definitely take some time to check out what it looks like, the number of prophecies that Jesus fulfilled, and just the probability for 6 to 10 of them. I mean, and he fulfilled a ton. So Jesus fulfilled prophecies, yet another sign of who he is, which is one of John's main points that he's trying to prove in his writing of this gospel is that Jesus is the Son of God. Jews were welcoming him in as one in the line of the Davidic kings. As you can see in here, where did I put that? Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, the King of Israel. So they're literally acknowledging Jesus as their king, as one of the Davidic kings. And yet in just a few days, they would be putting him on a cross, yelling, "Crucify him." And so it could be a little mess. People can be incredibly fickle. I feel like that just deserved its own slide, People can be incredibly fickle. And what does that mean? It means that we should not base our plans, our opinions, our strategies. None of that stuff should be based on the opinions of people or the approval of man, because you can have the approval one day and then you can have crucifixion on another, and it doesn't even have to be separated by much time, because that's how crazy people can flip-flop. And I love how the disciples didn't understand. Let's see. I keep missing it by one slide, His disciples, verse 16, did not understand these things at first. However, later, when Jesus was glorified, when they remembered that these things had been written about him, and that they had done these things to him. And so then they're like, oh, hey, wow, check that out. And so it's kind of comforting that the disciples, being with Jesus constantly, still had doubts, still had questions, and did not put two and two together all the time. And so if you ever find yourself in that place, give yourself a little grace, cut yourself a little bit of slack. Just keep seeking after him, keep loving him, keep honoring him, keep speaking about him, keep searching, keep looking, keep reading, keep praying. Because sometimes you just don't understand it on the first try. So I hope that you are encouraged today to seek after him. I hope that you are encouraged to see all the different prophecies that he fulfilled, and just what a great case it makes for Jesus being the one, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. They were welcome. All the people, really knowledgeable people, were welcoming him in as one of the Davidic kings. And but boy, can people be fickle. Don't be fickle, go eat a pickle. Okay, that's all I had for you. God bless you. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.